Well, we always say retirement is a journey, one that you shouldn't have to navigate solo. So that is why every week here on The Right Path to Retirement, we turn to financial advisor Jimmy Lynn, certified financial planner and the founder of Right Path Wealth Management right here in Las Vegas. We've talked in the past about that classic 60-40 portfolio, 60% stocks, 40% bonds. When stocks go down, the bonds hold you up and vice versa. But investor Peter Schiff says that mix doesn't work anymore because of a new reason. And that reason is inflation. It goes like this. Inflation pulls away from the buying power of your bonds, and higher inflation often pushes interest rates up. And as the rates rise, the market value of existing bonds falls. So quite the cycle there, Jimmy. So can you talk to us about this? Are bonds still a viable place to put your retirement money? And if so, what part do they play?
Yeah, Casey, I think that bonds absolutely are still part of a viable balanced portfolio. But I think that that classic 60-40 portfolio doesn't necessarily hold water as much as it used to. In very recent history, I believe in 2022, we saw how stocks and bonds both crashed at the same time, which is obviously not the reason why we hold a 60-40 portfolio. We're looking for that to create that balance. I'm not saying that's going to happen every year, but it would be horrible for someone to go into retirement and that's the year that it happens, because that will dramatically impact their lifestyle over the next few years. So what we look at is different alternatives that we've mentioned in the past, is that there are bond alternatives because inflation is something that is eating away at the values, especially as you mentioned, when interest rates go up, those bond values go down, which is not the purpose of why we got it. But a lot of things that we look at is like, how do we create guaranteed growth on our income so that we don't have to worry about interest rates? And one of those things is creating things like an income annuity where we can have a guaranteed income stream in play. And if we time it correctly, we can get guaranteed growth on our income in the future. So we know that every year that we delay turning on our income, in the future, we're going to get a larger paycheck. And so those are ways where we know that we could have something that's separate from the market, that's still getting some growth, and we're going to benefit in the future in the form of higher income, which again, income is king in retirement. But then it's just different alternatives. Again, we talked about things like structured notes, and I keep mentioning that because I think in the market conditions right now, where stocks and bonds can fall at the same time, sometimes you can get some benefit from that. So having a balanced allocation is going to be something that will help you sleep at night and be able to kind of benefit you in all market conditions. But I would say that the bonds are still something that you want to have as a piece of your portfolio. But just like everything else, it's about diversification and balance in your portfolio. And you can't stick to that classic 60-40 portfolio and just set it and forget it, because that can be a dangerous scenario for you.
Yeah, I think this has a lot of people wondering if it's time to rethink that old approach. So if inflation is chipping away at what bonds can offer, what other options do retirees have to keep their portfolio steady without taking on too much risk? Jimmy, can you go into more detail about that?
Yeah, a popular bond alternative in our office is called a fixed indexed annuity. Because a fixed index annuity, essentially what you're going to do there is you're going to have zero exposure to market fluctuation, but these accounts can grow as the market grows. So, just a simple example, a lot of our index annuities are tied to the S&P 500. And as the S&P 500 goes up, which, traditionally 7 out of 10 years on average, it is up. If the S&P goes up, then you get structural growth within your index annuity up to a cap, and we see caps in the range of anywhere between 7 to 10%. So you can get growth, up to like 10% oftentimes. But if the market goes down, you don't lose a dime. So you're able to get that growth in these accounts that are going to outperform a bond. But if the market goes down, you're not going to lose any money. So you get kind of the safety that you're seeking out of a bond. So over the long run, we've seen that these fixed index annuities are able to kind of be essentially a bond replacement, because you're no longer exposed to that market loss, but you can still get very similar growth in those accounts. So that's what we're utilizing in our office. And we've had a lot of compliments about that because people are able to sleep at night, not worrying about the market, but still seeing sustainable growth in those accounts. But Casey, like I said before, every situation is different. We don't have a cookie cutter approach. So if anyone's listening and they want to understand if they're in the right allocation for their specific situation, please give us a call. We do have those 5 spots available. I'm at 702-744-8344. Give us a call and you'll get put on my calendar.
So, Jimmy, rethinking bonds really shows how much retirement planning has changed. There are constantly new hurdles, and right now there's another challenge on the horizon. It is estimated that another 4.1 million Americans will turn 65. And while studies show that they intend to keep their job until age 70, their health or employment status might say otherwise. So I wanted to ask you, is it possible to help prepare for that moment when work plans are not realistic? What are your thoughts here, Jimmy?
Casey, I think it's critical to plan for that. I don't even think it's optional. What I've seen recently, sadly, is that, and we just recently had a jobs report where unemployment is at, I think, the highest it has been, I should say, in the past 4 years. And it's scary, right. Artificial intelligence is coming. There's a lot of efficiencies that it provides, which eliminates jobs. And I've seen too often where people are coming in and they're losing their jobs, and it's hard, and I tell stories about this in my workshops, is that my dad lost his job in his 60s and he had to go back to work as a security guard. And I've seen people, they have plans to work till age 70 or beyond. But if you're employed, oftentimes that's not necessarily your decision. And so I think that we need to plan for all different conditions, because it could be your employer eliminating positions, or it can be a health event that is also very common. And so I think it is mandatory that you start looking at different scenarios that could come into play. Not only like what the market's going to do, we plan for that, but also what is our professional status or what is our health status. So being able to plan for all these things is important. That's what we do with our clients. We have to create scenarios because it's real. So have a plan in place, years before that comes. And ideally, if you don't have to utilize that plan, then we're good. But you want to have those backup plans. We use pretty sophisticated planning software where we can map these things out. We can map out their income. We can map out tax planning strategies and create these different scenarios. So I think that it is very, very important. I cannot emphasize enough, have a plan and have a backup plan. That's something we help our clients with every single day. Yeah,
walking through those scenarios and having a plan that accounts for the unexpected can really help take that pressure off for people. But I want to drill it down a little further, Jimmy. For somebody who wants to keep working but knows that life can throw curveballs as it does, how do you balance that desire with the reality that income might stop sooner than your client's expecting? Are there financial tools that can help bridge that gap?
Yeah, for sure. One of the ones that we like to use is trying to create an income stream through just setting up an income annuity, because essentially what you're doing is you're passing on that risk of losing your income, that responsibility. You're kind of shifting that to the insurance carrier. And that's all insurance is right? It's transfer of risk. And so if you have the risk of your income being lost through, a loss of a job or a health event that creates a situation where you can no longer work, you want to shift that risk over to the insurance carrier. And the best way to set this up is several years before you need it, because the benefit of an income annuity is the longer you wait to actually turn on that income stream, the higher the income you will receive. So if you're in a situation where you want to work till 70, but you're maybe late 50s, early 60s, and you're not sure that that's going to happen, I would recommend in many cases to set up an alternative income stream. And if you never need it, you can take that money back and reposition it. But it gives you that opportunity. So I would say that is the number one thing that we look at, is how do we find these alternatives? If you're going to lose some income, how do we shift that risk to the insurance carriers so that they could fill that gap? But we map all this stuff out through our pretty advanced planning software as well, Casey. So we can look at situations where is that a need? Do we need to have some type of income replacement? Or do our current assets, if they're growing at a certain rate, can those fill the gap just on their own? Again, it's not cookie cutter. We're going to look at these situations individually, but our planning software, you want to not do it on your own. I've seen a lot of people come in Excel spreadsheets where they try to create their own formulas, and that can be not only tedious, but inaccurate. So we utilize a lot of planning tools to map this out, and then we'll identify, do these financial tools make sense to fill that, or are you good with the assets that you have right now? But again, it starts with looking at that plan in detail.
Yeah, none of us know exactly when work might stop. So having a plan that fills that gap can make all the difference for you. And if you're listening right now and you're wondering how your plan stacks up, it's time to pick up the phone. Give us a call. 702-744-8344 is the number to do it, and we will get you scheduled for a complimentary retirement consultation with Jimmy. This is a space where you can talk about your concerns, you can talk about your questions, and then Jimmy can share with you how he and the Right Path team can best help you move forward. 702-744-8344 is that number for you again. There's absolutely no pressure here, no obligation. This is just a conversation directly with Jimmy. He is incredibly easy to talk to, so I encourage you to claim one of these spots while we've got him. 702-744-8344 or online at rightpathwm.com. That is going to do it for us this week. We will be back next week, same time, same place, with more great insight from certified financial planner Jimmy Lynn here on the Right Path to Retirement. Take care.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Right Path Wealth Management. Right Path Wealth Management is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Right Path Wealth Management are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal. Any reference to the protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing carrier. This radio podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decision, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Right Path Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Right Path Wealth Management.
Market Guard is a firm that provides investment signals as well as portfolio allocation recommendations, wide variety of model portfolios. Market Guard does not offer advice or enter into fiduciary relationships.